How can I trek through the Arkansas countryside on horseback alone if I don't have any company? I mean, I love the pine woods and the rolling hills and the great open prairies, but how am I ever going to fall asleep at night? Or wake up in the morning for that matter? Rooster's got an eye patch that looks like a square of stovepipe and I wonder what's behind it. There's an abandoned treehouse down by the river and there's not much left of it now except for a few rotten boards propped up in the crotch of 2 old limbs. But it was once a palace and I often think about what life would have been like had I seen its glory days. What would I have turned out like? The cattails are taller than they used to be, and the old gravel road ends abruptly at the lake. It's an interesting thought, but I'm too tired and dizzy to think about it now. There's a crow on the fence in the bean field, and it's watching me move from the corner of its eye. It made me cry when Violet got carried away, but that was before cowslips showed up and the field was suddenly covered with blood. I always wonder who worked these fields and how many beautiful stories were left untold and thus forgotten in the void of time. It's rather a world within the world. Untouched, it seems, by the handprint of fashion and popularity, but honestly, I prefer things that way. I crave for the countryside, unspoiled, uncontaminated by consumerism and tourism and humanity in general. There's a raw, innocent purity amongst the trees, I can feel it. Not like the big city, dirty and noisy and full of vile immorality. Should I have more time on my hands these days, I might settle down by the sea someday. I'd crank out the bedroom window, heavy on its old hinges, and let the soothing sound of water against the sandy banks lull me to sleep. Somehow I imagine falling asleep wouldn't be as tough, and for an insomniac that's a delightful notion. Better still in a boat. Not a fancy yacht or a cruiser, just an old fishing boat or something to explore sandbars and tiny island chains with. My collection of sand dollars could always use another addition, and during such afternoon excursions that slowly burn into dusk and then midnight, I might bring a fuzzy blanket along and settle down onto the floorboards beneath the seats and get a good glimpse of the starry sky. In goes the anchor, and it's suddenly magical. I could spend forever out here, alive, alone, content, and happy. But that's a fantasy more or less. Right now there's a closet full of people staring at me, watching me type out letters that form words which read off a screen they cannot see from where they are. I wonder if they know I'm talking about them. They are the ghosts that lived here long before any of us chose to call it home. I don't want to look in their direction, but the more I try to appear casual, the more I'll bet they can tell I'm pretending. They're not scary or eerie or alarming, they're just sad. I want to help them. Sometimes I get sad after I watch something melancholy, and it's strange how that emotion doesn't leave you immediately the way laughter or some other intake of information tends to do. Sadness stays with you, like a predator shark locked on a sunfish. It's hard to shake it, and sometimes it seems the more you attempt to avoid it, hide from it, you might successfully call off the chase for a bit, but then the second you see something or hear something or whatever, you're right back at it again. So annoying. There's a little country pond across the gravel road, and Dad used to tell me snapping turtles lived at the bottom. He said he caught one the size of a trash can lid once, and I believe him. I think about that place all the time, whenever I want to disappear from right now and escape to somewhere peaceful and quiet, somewhere away from the things of man. I dislike big cities because I detest feeling like a helpless consumer who can't do anything himself. You have to pay to go anywhere or do anything, and that gets old really fast to me. No independence, too many people, so much noise, so much sad corruption. Above all else, I crave for innocence and purity, and even though it's rarely around, it's indeed right in front of my eyes, and the trick is to see it. So what am I waiting for? It's time to stop waiting, because loving the world is the same as hating God. The equation is obvious. It's time to change. It's the same way for my living room. I'm not sure if I should even be writing about it here and now, because of the reminders my mind will associate with that room. Bittersweet, but more bitter than sweet. Let's call it what it is. I can feel the tubes burning, glowing orange in their rows. It's louder in here, but it's a good loud. The kind you can feel in your chest. The kind that moves emotion, kindles imagination, and maybe even pricks a stinging trickle of joyful tears. The rails on all sides make this square feel like the giant tortoise yard at Reptile Gardens in Rapid City, South Dakota. But it's not the kind of place you should feel uncomfortable about. It just is what it is. The hard work is done, and there's something about the Black Hills that soothes the mind. Dinosaur Park perched over the skyline. I just like thinking about it. And so, men and women sit on slouched couches pressed against every wall in the room. And the ceiling lights are never that good, but that doesn't matter because we're merely visitors and don't intend to stay until shortly after dark. My voice always seems to split down the middle like a hairline fracture, and I remember hearing a pretty girl whisper in my ear, "Aw, listen to your tired little voice." but that was a long time ago, and I'd rather forget it. Friends enter and leave the room all the time, but that's what I like about it. It's bustling with life, but it's busy in a good way. I've never been into parties or receptions or functions or any social affairs at all, for that matter. But there's something different about these hot summer nights. There's a kind of camaraderie, a mutual trust among people who spend a lot of time together, and I've grown fond of that because it feels right and good and pure and honest. Unlike a strange wedding reception I obviously don't belong at, I feel like I'm supposed to be here, and that's a comforting thing. Curtains are closing by themselves now. Lights are switching off, tires are singing their nightly songs, and my eyelids are filled to the brim with liquid iron. I met a lot of nice people tonight, and it was lovely because this was my first time in the mountains and I wasn't under the weather. Gone now are the sad sounds of the disappointed city, so full of unhappy people, the watchman's wristwatch, the tired taxi crawl, the sirens that make me wince with their sharp echoes that never seem to land. Here now are the sounds of slumber and stillness and comfort and whimsy and dreams and dust and reverie. I could never in my wildest dreams imagine the summer weather in New York. A pretty girl in a white dress told me she thought I was cute, and I blushed all the way home.